Well, good. How are the tacos? Sorry, I ended up at home with my mother.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the January 21st, 2025 Hempstead Board meeting. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Clavin.
Here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Here.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Here.
Councilman Schneider.
Here. Madam Clerk, please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
All righty. Thank you. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the first public hearing.
Yes, sir. We have a proposed local law regarding regulations and restrictions to limit parking in East Meadow, Seaford, and Wantagh.
Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips in this matter. Anybody wish to be heard on this matter? Did not raise and sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we close the hearing and pass the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding parking or standing prohibitions in East Meadow, Levittown, Merrick, Roosevelt, Seaford, and Uniondale.
Madam Clerk, any member of the board wish to be heard? All right. Didn't have any slips. Any member of the public wish to be heard in this item? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and that we move the proposal.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Yes, we have a proposed local law regarding fire zones in East Meadow.
All right. Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips in this matter. Anybody wish to be heard? Did not sign item number 3? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board approve the proposal.
Second motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Okay. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding gross weight restrictions in Levittown.
All right. Any member of the board wish to be heard? All right. Any member of the public wish to be heard in this item? Nobody signed in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board approve the proposal.
I second that, madam.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Yes, we have a proposed handicap parking on public streets in Elmont, Inwood, near Limbrook, and Roosevelt.
Okay. Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips this matter. Anybody wish to be heard and not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye. Okay. Please call the next item, Madam Clerk.
Yes, we have a proposed local law regarding graffiti control, regarding types of offenses and penalties.
Okay. Any member of the board wish to be heard? If any slips this matter, anybody wish to be heard in the public, not sign in? Sure. If you can come on down to the back there and give your name and address.
Good evening, Chris Jacobs, Uniondale, New York.
Hi, Mr. Jacobs.
Hey, how you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
Yes. Regarding item number 6, I think it's a great idea for the increased penalties. I would like to add to that also, like for example, many communities they have these lewd signs that are hung up by businesses, like promoting parties and everything like that. So I will hopefully, along with this law, maybe it can amend also that certain businesses that like to be repeat offenders, where they hang up these lewd signs that promote social events or something, they have lewd pictures and stuff like that, be penalized with the same level of scrutiny also, because they're all under visual pollution and they're all not good and bring down the quality of life for the communities.
Okay. I talked about it to this, but if you want to do a follow-up email on that, that's something I'd love to follow up with you.
Okay, yeah, I'll see you in a couple of days. Thanks,
Thanks, Mr. J. Always nice to see you. Thank you. Anybody else wish to be heard? All right. Please, if you come to the back, give your name and address.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale.
How you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year as well to all of you.
So, item 6, this is a huge step in the right direction to improve the quality of life in the town of Hempstead and all of our communities. My question is, how will this new ordinance be, where's the oversight? How would this be monitored? Because a lot of these tags and these graffitis, they're done after
Yeah,
hours.
part of the vision was this, giving a little more teeth to the law, so the police department can also have more of a say in this, correct, John?
The police department will be involved, our code enforcement will be involved. Naturally, we get complaints all the time. If we get those complaints, we act on them. The hope is to catch them while they're doing it, because these are some significant fines and a significant amount of jail time.
Yeah,
And it goes to district court.
Yeah, and that was the concept of it when we were going through it, to get a little more serious with the law enforcement, so we can involve the county police in more of a prosecution with the DA's office, and really hold people accountable for the stuff.
Well, like I said, this is a step in the right direction. I've come before this town board many times speaking of quality of life issues, graffiti,
Yeah.
tagging, and I do know, like in New York City, where they have cameras all over the place, so it doesn't matter who does it, they'll find out who does it, and they can track them down and get fined. But I really hope this law works. There needs to be oversight. If a law is a law, we have so many laws. Like we have the law now that was passed by New York State called the Sleep Act. Okay, that law is toothless. It has no teeth. These people are running around with car mufflers all over the place, like we live in a war zone. So with this particular ordinance, there should be oversight. And like I said, in Uniondale, we have signs all over the place, no littering.
Mhm.
And they litter, and there's absolutely no oversight. The only time it gets cleaned up is when I make a call, or I give the neighbors the number to make a call. So I really hope this is a great idea, and I hope moving forward that this ordinance will work. And, and if you can get more oversight on it, like code enforcement, that would be great, because our police right now, they do their job, but they do a tremendous job, an excellent job, but they are overtaxed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the feedback, and like I said, we're hoping for the best in this one. Anybody else wish to be heard? All right, if not, may I please have a motion?
Move the public hearing be closed and the board consider the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
And Councilman Schneider.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have the application of Chief Real Estate Management LLC for a special exception for permission to maintain an automobile repair facility in Oceanside.
Counselor, identify yourself. Thanks.
Dominic Minerva and D'Agostino, 107 South Central Avenue, Valley Stream, New York, attorney for the applicant.
Okay.
Good evening, Supervisor, council members. The application of Chief Realty Management LLC before you this evening is for a special exception to maintain an automotive repair facility. Subject property is known as 2873-2879 Long Beach Road in Oceanside. It's also known as Section 38, Block 363, tax lots 26, 27, 228, and 405 on the Nassau County Land and Tax Map. It's located on the northeast corner of Long Beach Road and Fairview Avenue, and it's in the business zone. The subject premises consists of 13,978 square feet and is improved with a 9,850 square foot, one-story masonry building. It is a multi-tenant building with a music school and a mortgage broker fronting on Long Beach Road, and the automotive repair shop fronting on Fairview Avenue. The applicant is leasing 5,983 square feet for the automotive repair shop, 2,819 square feet for the music school, and 839 square feet for the mortgage broker. It's the intention that all three tenants will remain in the premises. My client recently purchased the premises on April 19th, 2024. My client thereafter immediately hired an architect and an attorney to legalize this automotive repair shop, which is believed to be in existence at this location for the last 85 years. And he also hired us to close all the open permits of record. The 85 years in operation is evidenced by the permit record search sheet, indicating building permits were originally issued in the late 1930s and early 1940s for the auto use, but unfortunately they never got closed of record. I submitted a copy of building permit number 26534, which was for an addition to the building in 1940 and the use as an auto repair shop, as applicant's Exhibit A. I also submitted a copy of building permit number 67224 from 1949 for an addition of 2 stores to the building with a copy of the survey from that file, as it indicates that the same dimensions of the building were on that survey as the building currently exists today, as applicant's Exhibit B. Therefore, the auto repair shop and the additional stores have existed in the current building since at least 1950, excluding interior alterations that occurred over the years, and essentially the entire building was permitted 75 to 85 years ago. The 1950 building permit for the addition of the 2 stores did obtain a final certificate and is closed of record. It was determined by the building department that in order to obtain a current certificate of occupancy for the auto repair shop at this location, a special exception for public garage must first be obtained by the applicant from the town board. Those permits were closed out 80 years ago. We would have never had to now legalize it, but that was never done, and my client, as a new owner, wanted to obtain all the proper certificates for the premises. I would also note that some of these open permits of record have already been closed since my client purchased the property, and the majority of them cannot be closed unless and until the special exception is granted. My client also, within the first month after closing, had a contractor repair and reseal the roof, install new flashing and new gutters and leaders to protect the building from any further decay, as is in need of some improvement at the time of purchase. Assuming this application is granted, and subject to the approval of the required variances by the Board of Zoning Appeals as determined by the Building Department, which include a parking variance and a variance for overnight outdoor storage of vehicles. My client intends to repave the parking lot and install a new facade to beautify the building and the site and make arrangements with the tenants for any interior repair work. My client has a long history of improving properties in the town of Hempstead. The sole member of the applicant, Anthony Capone, is the principal of North Star Auto Body. They have acquired properties on Merrick Road in Baldwin and in Merrick and on Lawson Boulevard in Oceanside, and have vastly improved those buildings and sites and maintained same in a first-class manner. And the facility located on Lawson Boulevard in Oceanside was recognized by the town board at that time for the improvements made by my client. Although there is no intention of an auto body shop at this facility, as it was purchased as an investment property, and my client already has a facility in Oceanside for his operation, my client will make the improvements described and maintain this property in a similar manner to his other properties in the town of Hempstead. I would note that the current operator of the automotive repair facility at the site, which is my client's tenant, Oceanside Wheel Alignment, Inc., has been a tenant and operated this facility in excess of 30 years. So it's been there for about at least 75 years, and the current operator has been there for 30 years. The hours of operation are from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And I would also note this property is uniquely situated to lend itself to this use, as on the same side of Fairview Avenue, and unlike many other automotive repair facilities throughout the town of Hempstead that border residential properties, this property first has its own parking lot, followed by a town of Hempstead municipal parking lot, and then by the rear of the parking lot of the Oceanside Public Library, located on Davison Avenue. This results in the unique situation that this automotive repair shop is approximately 200 feet away from the closest residential properties to the rear of the premises. Further surrounding the subject premises is a Dunkin' Donuts to the south, a multi-tenant building to the north with a pet groomer and nail salon. To the west is a former funeral home that has recently been redeveloped into a multi-tenant office with a dentist and eye care center. And to the east of the subject premises is the Town of Hempstead Municipal Parking Lot, followed by the Oceanside Public Library. I submitted photographs taken by myself on January 20th, 2025, which I believe fairly and accurately depict the subject premises and the surrounding uses I just described as applicant's Exhibit C. I would note, with regard to the special exception criteria in the Town Code, the following. The first two criteria are that the use will not prohibit the orderly and reasonable use of adjacent properties, nor prevent the orderly or reasonable use of legally permitted and established uses in the district. This has been clearly demonstrated by the fact that the surrounding area is developed with typical uses found in the business district located in the Town of Hempstead, and as demonstrated by the recent redevelopment of the funeral home, has not impeded the continued development of properties in the use district. That the safety, health, and welfare of the community will not be adversely affected by location of the use. As I stated, this location is superior than the location of most of the automotive repair facilities found in the business district throughout the Town of Hempstead as a result of the substantial buffering by other parking lots and the library before the residential homes to the rear of the property are located. And lastly, that the use will be in harmony and will promote the general purpose of this ordinance. This final consideration has also been clearly demonstrated, as the use has been in existence for decades and continued in harmony and without impact to the development or use of the adjacent properties. Based upon the foregoing, the applicant respectfully requests your favorable consideration and remain available for any questions the board or the public may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minerva. Anybody have any comments, questions from the town board?
Yeah, I have some comments. So the first question is nothing is changing, correct? Other than the improvements that have already been done to the property.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Nothing is changing other than the improvements that already have been done. Is that correct? It's going to maintain the same.
That's correct, except that we are, and it's part of the application, the parking lot. We're going to improve the parking lot that's in somewhat been neglected and resurface it, stripe it, and in the future, my client is going to redo the facade to make the building just appearance look nicer. But otherwise, nothing is changing to the building the way it is.
And Mr. Supervisor, I will say that I am very familiar with all of the property, North Star properties, and they have invested significant money in improving all of their locations throughout the Town of Hempstead, particularly in my district. There are multiple properties. So they have done a wonderful job of investing and maintaining the properties very well.
Thank you.
I don't have any slips from anybody in the public. Did anybody wish to be heard on this item? All right.
Yeah. So I would like to make a motion, Mr. Supervisor, that that the board adopt the item.
I second that motion.
All right. Supervisor Clavin?
I'll say aye, and I will add to knowing the other properties and the fact that they do take into consideration improvement for making aesthetically look great in the community. I vote for it. And based on their prior work, we look forward to it and that commitment. We're very grateful for that. Oceanside, I'm sure, will be grateful too for a little beautification of that business at that location. So thank you very much. But I vote yes.
Thank you, Supervisor.
Councilman Dunn?
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby?
I vote yes, too. I know that property pretty good, and I think it's very good. I hope everybody learns to do it that way in your district.
Councilwoman Miller?
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder?
Aye.
And Councilman Schneider?
Aye. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Minerva.
Have a good
great
evening.
one.
Thank you.
Thank you, client, as well. Madam Clerk, please call, I guess, the administrative calendar.
Yes, so on the administrative calendar, we have items 8 through 36.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard or sever any of the items in the administrative calendar? All right, I do have a couple of speakers. We have a Lou Dandrill. If you go to the back mic, Mr. Dandrill, and give your name and address, if you'd like to be heard.
My name is Lou Dandrilli, Massapequa. Happy New Year.
Hold on, wait, I couldn't hear you. Just a little louder into the mic.
Lou Dandrilli, Massapequa.
Okay.
And I'm a volunteer at the shelter, and I saw it was an item here. And I was just wanted to say I've been a volunteer for about a year. It's a well-run shelter, loving, take good care of the dogs. And I'm just wondering how we go about finding out about the item that I'm seeing is number 14.
We'll have the
What
commissioner
the
come up
bid
and
is.
identify himself and
Thank
tell
you.
you what the item is.
Yeah,
Commissioner?
Yes, Jerry Marino, I'm the Commissioner of the Department of General Services for the town of Hempstead. Item 14 relates to new cages in Kennel Run 3. Every X amount of years, we have to redo some to keep them up to code.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. D'Angelo. Next, I have Marcia DiTieri. Good evening. Your name and address. Thank you.
Marcia DiTieri, Merrick, New York. Item 14 also. Does Resolution 14 include updating the cattery areas, including repair of the ceiling that's falling down in the small cattery?
I think the commissioner said this is for cages. Is that correct?
Capital plan, this is for the Kennel Run cages in Kennel 3.
Okay.
So there's no funding currently for any of the cattery areas?
No, we didn't say that at all. He just said this item is for the cages. He never said there's no funding at all for any of that other stuff. So this is for the cages, and they identified that. So
All right,
let's
just
not make it-
FYI, there's a whole,
No,
the ceiling's
we
falling
understand
down.
that, Mr. DiTieri. I understand, but for
Item
this item,
29?
this in particular. Which item?
29, does the Companion Animal Capital Projects Fund Grant include increased knowledgeable adoption staffing to make sure the right animal goes to the right person, decreasing returning animals due to injury or wrong match?
Item 29 is, we're asking the town board to pass this resolution to allow us to send certain documents to the state of New York for a grant application that we're putting through for capital improvement at the animal shelter, including intake areas, recovery areas, extra offices, adding more square footage and more housing for animals.
Will it include additional staff to help provide the right match for the right animal?
Well, why don't we see what the grant, if it's ever awarded by the state, before we'll make any sort of commitment. We're putting the cart before the horse.
Okay, it's just a suggestion.
I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Anybody else wish to be heard in the administrative calendar? If not, may I please have a motion? Pretty please.
I passed the entire calendar.
There you go. Well, I'm sorry, just in case you couldn't hear. There you go.
I move the board pass the entire calendar.
Okay. You got a second on that?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, make a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Deputy Supervisor Gooseby.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Ryder.
Aye.
Councilman Schneider.
Aye.
Okay, now that the formal town program is over, the town will remain to listen to residents' comments. We'll start with Hillary Flanagan. When you come up, if you go to the back and give your name and address, we'd appreciate that.
Hillary Flanagan, I said my name wrong, Hillary Flanagan, Belmore, New York. Good evening, Supervisor and board members. I'm here to oppose any privatization of the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter in conjunction with Golden Animal Alliance, which has been more than demonstrated why they should not be considered. Let's remove any suggested affiliations, remove any records of alleged bankruptcies and liens, remove any alleged barring from outside agencies, remove any alleged citations for the treatment of animals, remove any talk of alleged so-called advocates' involvement. The facts remain in terms of Goldman Animal Alliance. Not one board member has any experience running a shelter of this magnitude or any shelter from the resumes provided. TOH serves the largest township in the country, encompassing over 142 square miles with a population of approximately 777,000, which over 3,042 animals in 2024 entering the shelter. 3,042. 2,150 cats and 889 dogs, either through stray pickup, owner surrender, police seizures, hoarding situation, evictions, public drop-off, just to name a few. Trap, neuter, release, the TNR program, is a whole nother scope, with 2,161 cats through the program in 2024, with a 4-year total of upwards of 8,400 cats through this program. To put in perspective, Brookhaven Animal Shelter, with a township population of 488,000, intakes are approximately 1,630 animals. Their TNR program is contracted, which that contract has not been renewed as of yet, with TNR Task Force, who has performed upwards of 3,500 TNRs over a 4-year period. I would think from these numbers alone, the group contracted to privatize would be well-versed and sizable in populations of shelters like TOHS. Our acting director is well-versed in those. But I do not see anywhere in any of these documents that these people are qualified. Additionally, while bidding, to my knowledge, the bidder has never come to the shelter as a group to even review. That would be bidding 101. I perform bids on a daily basis, and I never bid on something unseen. That's business 101. This is such a simple task to reject this bid, even from a peripheral view of not knowing every single element. Bidder for qualifications just do not align with operations, financials do not align, references do not align with any large shelter operation. Veterinarian, being an outside vet for a shelter on emergency referral basis, is not the same as being a shelter taking care of 3,042 animals. This is just not coming together. We currently have a circulating petition with over 1,000 signatures on it. I have a copy here, but I can also email it to you as well. I'm not sure who I would give this to. As a taxpayer, as a business person, and as a volunteer, there is just no benefit to this.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Flanagan. Feel free, you can email the petition to the town. We are grateful for that. Danielle Kenny? Thanks, Sue. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Susie. Yeah. How you doing? Name and address, please. Thank you.
Danielle Kenny, North Belmore. Good evening, Supervisor and Town Board members. I'm here to oppose Goldman Animal Alliance's bid to privatize the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. Supervisor Clavin, at the December 10th Town Board meeting, you broke away from your usual disciplined silence in a refreshing discourse to address the audience, describing the conflicting messages that this board receives constantly regarding the animal shelter, both positive and negative. Comments ranging from how great the shelter is doing to how understaffed and the unending complaints that you receive. I personally have been volunteering at the shelter for 11 years this spring. In my years of volunteering, it's extraordinary to see the improvements and progress our animal shelter has made. These changes have happened thanks to the hard work of staff, representatives like yourselves, and the community all working together. I wholeheartedly agree with the feedback that the shelter and its staff are doing a great job and continue to work hard for our animals. I also agree with the opinions that the shelter does need improvements. I am not going to stand here and tell you that it's all gumdrops and lollipops. There are many deficiencies and aspects that require change. There are times I am frustrated with the aspects of the shelter that I don't agree with or believe that can be improved upon. Regardless of what is needed, I can tell you undoubtedly that Goldman Animal Alliance is not the solution to any of these problems. From the alarming history of financial irresponsibility, bankruptcy filings, and liens for unpaid taxes, which I know this board has documentation on, to acts of animal cruelty and neglect, Goldman Animal Alliance is not the partner we want for our animal shelter. As Councilwoman Miller echoed Supervisor Clavin's message at the December 10th meeting in stating, this board is trying their best to fully support this shelter to run the right way. We take these things to heart. I ask this board to please take this matter to heart, to support our animal shelter and not destroy what we have all created together by accepting this bid. This board has the information to see that not only is it not a financially sound partner, but unstable and irresponsible for our animals, our community, and its taxpayers. Please make the right decision in declining Goldman Animal Alliance's bid to privatize. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Kenny. Elizabeth Scota? How you doing? Name and address, thanks.
Elizabeth Skoda Merrick. I am a proud volunteer at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter. Some of us have at times been referred to as quirky cat or dog people. Others believe that we've got too much time on our hands or that we've got nothing else to do in our lives, so we turn to the animals. None of this is true. We are professionals, parents, grandparents. We are police and fire personnel. We are nurses, educators, union workers, and we are businessmen and women. We choose to sacrifice our time from our families, friends, and our own animals to give service to those who need it the most. We try to offer ancillary support to the wonderful and dedicated staff who have devoted their lives to do their very best with the limited resources given to ensure that the animals are taken care of and protected. The staff at TOH have chosen this life path for the very same reason we choose to volunteer, to help the helpless. The animals at the Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter are strays, they are surrenders, they are abused, and they are neglected. They are animals passed off by the many private organizations that have deemed them unadoptable. In short, we are the last stop for a population that has been let down time and time again by humanity. There is no other avenue for them to turn to, but they do have a right to exist safely and without the fear of the human hand. They deserve the same comforts as any animal that we have in our very own homes. In December 2024, the New York Puppy Mill Pipeline Law moved one step forward in animal rights legislation. However, it comes with new concerns. I fear that privatized shelters and organizations will have to work diligently to prevent a secondary market from occurring in the industry. Profit will come to the forefront, and I fear if this shelter is privatized, the current criteria will change, and those animals deemed unadoptable for whatever reason will be euthanized. As a governing body, this panel can prevent that from happening. By privatizing the shelter at this critical time of change, you will lose all control over what happens to those animals and subsequently cause yet another disconnect from your community. I have in the past, and I'm asking you today to invest in the one agency that links the community and government together with the goal of ensuring that the very most vulnerable in our community are protected. Say no to privatization and invest in your shelter. It belongs to the town and it belongs to our community. We need your support. The shelter does so much for this community, and it is an example of what is possible when we come together with a common goal. Can you just imagine how much more we can accomplish if we have a unified approach? In honor of the great orator, Dr. Martin Luther King, human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle, the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. We are the same. Our goals are the same. Every member of this panel took an oath to do what the staff does each and every day.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Skoda. We have a number of people here we want to go through. We appreciate you coming in. Next I have Rachel Asian. How you doing? If you give your name and address, thanks.
Rachel Aslin, Oceanside. Good evening. I just wanted to say that I oppose Goldman Animal Alliance's bid to privatize Town of Hempstead Animal Shelter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Listen. This is only about 7 seconds. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Next, I have Chris Penzeca. You're a good sport, Miss Aslin, just so you know.
Chris Penzeca,
Hi, how you doing? Name and address, thanks.
New York. Supervisor Clave and the town board and town attorney Macaron. Concerned residents again ask you to join with the town of Oyster Bay and the town of North Hempstead in preventing rushes to development for one large project broken into 3 segments that puts the health of Long Islanders and their safety at risk. Remember, let's wait before it's too late, and let's pause for a good cause, which is health and safety. Please meet with members of the community and put a best moratorium in place, especially after the disaster taking place at Moss's Landing for the 4th time in 5 years. News outlets indicate that there's an 8 square mile evacuation zone, with over 1,200 residents displaced for more than a day. That's the entire school district of the North Shore and 17,000 residents, to put that in perspective. Consider what the impact will be in your township, where a BESS may be sited near an existing grid infrastructure or somewhere else in your community. Monterey County Supervisor Glenn Church compared this event to the 3 Mile Island, saying it's obvious that this technology is ahead of both the government's ability to regulate it and private industry's ability to control it. I listened to the state of emergency call today, and the experiences residents are going through are horrifying. Don't let this horror happen to human lives here on Long Island. Time and time again, best realities show that there is nothing to prevent fires, explosions, and thermal runaways from happening. Proposed fire safety standards don't address the real root issue or cause. These batteries are unstable TNT, toxic, noxious, ticking time bombs that don't belong near any residential community. There is no need to rush into best technology and its proven dangers to residential communities. Best infancy technology offering renewable promises poses significant risks that can't be overlooked and come at the expense of public health, safety, or environmental integrity. There are no long-term residential health studies that exist proving normal operations or disasters are safe for residents, our sole source aquifers, or the environment. Why should lobbyists, PE firms, and their LLC entities push these dangers into our communities and on residents with no accountability? This rush to development should cause everyone pause. The impact of lithium to drinking water is still under review. In your fiduciary role, wouldn't you want to be remembered as those proceeding with caution regarding this unstable infancy technology, where there are no long-term residential health studies proving it's safe? Why marry communities to first-generation technology for years to come that will become, under fire code, pre-existing non-conforming, when you could wait for better and more safe technology, which is being explored?
Thank you very much. We appreciate you visiting. Kathleen Alaka? How you doing? Name and address, please. Thank you.
It's Kathleen Alaka, and I'm also from Island Park, where I was born and raised. I'm here to speak also about the BESS. Come to encourage you all not to allow the proposed battery storage area to be built in Island Park, or any town in Long Island for that matter. I don't know why the Village of Island Park has been targeted to host a proposed substation at the POPS location and now a battery storage building on Industrial Way. But this is not right or appropriate. Look at what just happened at Moss Landing. The residents that live in an 8-square-mile radius had to evacuate their homes because of this fire. I just drove from Island Park to here, and it was 8 miles. So they would have to evacuate a lot of people if one of these went on fire in Island Park. These fires are not only huge, but they cannot be put out. The fire departments literally have to watch them burn. The battery temperatures can spike from 212 degrees to 1800 degrees in 1 second. The fire burns at 5,000 degrees. Large amounts of hydrogen fluoride are released, and then the batteries also release oxygens, which just fuel the fire even more. There's a risk of them exploding. They require 20,000 gallons of water to extinguish, which is 10 times more than a gasoline fire or a vehicle fire. The proposed site is just feet from residential homes, a school, multiple businesses, which include gas stations, auto repair shops, and Enterprise Auto. This isn't a matter of a battery storage area will go on fire. It's a matter of when it will go on fire. The residents that live in the 8-square-mile radius of the Moss Landing site are now complaining of burning eyes, bloody noses, headaches, bad taste of metal in their mouths, and much more. Let's not forget how New Yorkers and first responders were told that there was nothing to worry about after 9/11. We all see how that went. I don't want my family, friends, or any of you to be the next statistic. Please do not allow this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alaka. Next I have Alana Snyder. How you doing? Name and address. Thank you.
Alana Snyder, Seaford, New York. Good evening, Supervisor Clavin and board members. Sorry, I'm a little nervous and under the weather. I wasn't originally going to come today, but I think sitting at home, I think about all the dogs at the town of Hempstead Animal Shelter that I volunteer at. I think about how they depend on people like the staff and us to take them out, really advocate for them. They're voiceless. You know, let me compose myself, sorry. They depend on us. They depend on us for the hour that they maybe get out for the day. They depend on us to, give them treats, feed them, give them love. The things that they abandoned, neglected, abused, they come and get dropped off. And we're that hour of, joy that they can bring to their life. Now, nothing's great at not everything's great at the shelter, but there's a lot of great things that happen. They're great people who care, and people who have experience running the shelter. Unfortunately, I'm overwhelmed. I urge you to do your due diligence, look at the information that was provided to you, and reject the bid with a privatization partnership with Goldman Animal Alliance. Thanks, and have a great night.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Snyder. You did a fine job. Tony Egan. Tony Egan? No. Okay, Ms. Egan. Joanne Gallipoli. How you doing? If you give your name and address, thanks.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Gallipoli. I'm from West Hempstead. You know me. The reason I am here today is because of the situation that's going on Hempstead Gardens Drive and Elm Street. There are 3 stop signs, one going in either direction of Hempstead Gardens Drive and the other one on Elm Street. Since the town has repaved Hempstead Gardens Drive, it's turned into National Speedway. People go through the stop signs, they don't care. And my biggest concern is that on my corner, there is a bus stop. I've been in touch with Councilman Ryder and Mr. Clavin, and I've informed you of things that have happened. Someone from the highway department or the traffic department did put a sign up stating that there is a bus stop ahead, and 4 days later, there was a 4-car accident there because someone decided that they couldn't wait for the stop sign. Other people were stopping, but this person could not wait and decided to cut everybody off, and there was an oncoming car. So it created a 4-car accident. My big concern is the children that wait on my corner for their school bus because people have no regard. The other thing is we do have citizens from my neighborhood that walk on Hempstead Gardens Drive to the train stop. The train station's 2 blocks away. If there was a person at that spot at that time of that accident, they would have been dead. Something has to be done. I've recommended perhaps the lights on the stop signs to deter them a bit. I've been in contact with the police department, and unless they actually sit there, there's not too much more we could do about it. I asked for speed bumps. They said they were illegal. And I asked, why were they illegal? They told me because if they bottom out their car, they can sue the town. My question was, well, if they bottom out their car, that's their problem. They obviously didn't pay attention to the signs, because if you go through Hempstead Lake State Park, there are 2 speed bumps there, and clearly it says speed bump ahead. So I don't understand why we can't get something like that to help out in that area. Hempstead Gardens Drive and Elm Street in West Hempstead. Thank you.
How are you? You want to follow up there? That's my engineering commissioner. And by the way, thanks for the shout out about the roads being paved. Next, I'm going to call up Fran Risland. Just give your name and address. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fran Risland. I live on 546 Elm Street in West Hempstead. I'm a lifelong resident of West Hempstead, and I'm here about a business called Island Rock and Dirt on Woodfield Road. It's 631 Woodfield Road, which has taken over all the properties from their business to the corner on Eagle Avenue. And they park dump trucks there and piles of concrete and sand right at the street, right a few feet away from the street, piled high. It has become an ugly affront to the senses for every person going past. And it's an insult to every taxpayer in West Hempstead. I have made many complaints to the town of Hempstead, and I would like to know if there's any recourse that the residents have to make the situation better.
Good evening. Give your name and address for the record. Thanks.
Sure. Stacy Richardson, Uniondale, New York. Good evening. I'd like to say pleasant good evening to the town supervisor, Don Clavin, deputy supervisor, Darcy Gooseby, and all the town Hempstead board. I do not think I have to bring anyone's attention to the fires in California. It is the most devastating of fires we have ever seen in times. I would like the town of to bring to the town of Hempstead a caution to the residents of Uniondale and other surrounding neighborhoods. Some of you may be aware of the presence of windmill companies in our community. The use of battery storage is one component that goes hand in hand with these projects. Due to fire outbreaks of battery storage stations, example, Moss Landing, I would like to request the town of Hempstead to protect the residents of its township. Our communities are densely populated and, as many of you are aware, underserved. We would like to ask that the town of Hempstead follow suit with the likes of the town of Oyster Bay and North Hempstead and put in place a moratorium for the town of Hempstead. These other towns did not do this by coincidence, rather by air of caution to protect the residents, men, women, and children. Let's do the same and be on the side of caution. Prevention is always better than cure. I have one more issue. I have a business owner located, he has a business located on Jerusalem and the corner of Jerusalem and Duray Street. We submitted a letter to the town of Hempstead town attorneys back in December 5th. The business owner actually has a commercial vehicle, which we've sent photographs showing that this cabin truck has been parked there for many months. We've tried ticketing it. He's tried all sorts of manner to get this person to move. He became aggressive. So we're asking for a no parking sign or for someone to come and survey so that he can have the use of his parking garage, because that commercial vehicle sits on the residential area and the residents are actually concerned, and also the business owner. He does want to sell his business, but he can't. It doesn't look good in our community to have these abandoned commercial buildings. We want to try to improve as much as we can. So we do ask for some aid from the town of Hempstead. Thank you so much.
Hold on. Antonio, wave your hand. No, wave your hand. Go like this. That's Antonio. He's my commissioner of highways. He's going to get your address right now, okay? Sometimes Antonio likes taking cars off roads. We'll see what he can do. Legally. The next I have Charles Reeser. Charles Reeser. It's awesome. I ruined your name anyway. Next I have Joan Matthews. Charles. Hey, Mr. Reeser, how you doing? Okay. Come on, stay there. Hang out there.
Hi. Hello.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who this is,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. If you do not know who this is, I'm going to give you a special shout out.
Well,
if you know one of the best bakeries on Long Island, Reester's Bakery. It's been here forever. This family's been here forever. This is the fine owner of this establishment. It is always a pleasure to see you. We're delighted to have you here. And you know what? Everyone else is all jealous because I never do anybody like that.
Well,
But I
that's
do it for you. You're a good guy.
Very nice. Thank you. You made a good commercial for us.
Now, I hope you're not complaining. So anyway.
I'm not complaining. I just want to do something. I want to make West Hempstead beautiful again. And we have, so much going on, things that we don't like. I sent a letter to most of the, congressmen and everybody. They did get a letter. There was 9 items on there, but I'd like to see some of these things being taken care of. I belong to the historical group, the chamber, the Rotary, all these guys, and they keep complaining. They said nothing gets done. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take the bull by the horns, and I'm going to see what we can get done. I know you guys want to see a great community. We want to see West Hempstead great again. So I'm going to
You're
steal
very
some
kind,
words.
but I will tell you right now, as anybody knows down there in your area, they had a lot going on from that major development over the ISAR. I'm going to make you a promise right now. I know Tommy Muscarella and I have a bet going on right now. We have a who can get in better shape in 90 days. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send Tommy down to your store to talk to you about it, but you got to fatten him up because I got money on this, all right? Can you promise me that?
We love to make everybody happy.
Consider it. Well, Tommy and I will stop by the store in the next week. Fair enough?
I'll be there waiting for you.
Always good seeing you. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year and a healthy one.
Now, everybody do me a favor and go buy some stuff from a store. Make them happy. The Joan Matthews. He's such a nice guy. Hi, how you doing? Name and address, thanks.
How about is everybody tonight? Good?
Yeah, you're good.
Joan Matthews, Roslyn Harbor.
Hi.
I'm here to talk about the batteries try to get a moratorium in your town as well. So again, listening to all the Moss Landing stuff, which is what we've been doing all day, listening to their town halls. So there's a lot of recurrent stuff through the town that we've been expressing ourselves as well. One is the community members were not made aware of any bets being put in the area as well as their dangers. And it seems like a lot of the town councils had no idea, as well as the supervisors, what the actual dangers were. You have the ability to make more restrictions other than what you already have put out by the state. So before the Rapid Act, try to make more restrictions. No appropriate emergency plans were in place, nor monitoring in the areas immediately following these disasters. It should be there already. Even though they were there, some were late, and then there were not the appropriate monitoring tools. They should not be put in densely populated areas. That's what Long Island is, and it seems that most of the battery storage, especially where we're supposed to get one in Glenwood, 275 megawatts, that's densely populated, and we all know how well the roads are congested. FEMA, just so that you know, smelled the smoke more than 50 miles away when they got off the airplane in Oakland, but it was past their 8-mile evacuation area. The smoke plume, they also used research that was not appropriate. They never checked the weather, and the plume went in an opposite direction and endangered a lot of people. People were not made aware to evacuate, which is really frightening. People were outside, kids, parents, and animals, wildlife. We have to never forget about them. Particulate matter fallout, what happens with that? What's in that particulate matter? The financial effects of people sheltering places, to personal people not going to work, as well as people not being able to have people come to their businesses. Also, sheltering in place is not an option because people that reported that they were sheltering in place were still having symptoms of the headaches, the burning in the throat, the burning in the eyes. People had facial burns from the smoke as well. What's the effect on local produce? Salinas is the major populator. It's half the produce of strawberries comes out of Salinas. This is like 30 miles away from where their thing was. We've got our farms here. And then also it didn't sound like there was really a lot of appropriate training to the fire department, nor were they prepared with the equipment that they needed to handle these fires. And also things that were made to promise. They had bills in place where they were supposed to show their emergency plans and they didn't show it. And that was the 4th fire. So just try to avoid it. So if you guys could join the town of North Hempstead as well as the town of Oyster Bay, it would be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Matthews. Lisa Ortiz? Good evening. Name and address. How you doing?
Good
Excuse me, good evening. My name is Lisa Ortiz. I live in Lakeview. Um, Happy to be here tonight. Wanted to first start out by thanking um, Councilwoman Ryder for participating in the Lakeview tree lighting last year. It was a great event. Even though it was freezing cold, we still had a great turnout and great participation. Also, thank you to you as well, Supervisor Clavin. I came here this evening to share some concerns on behalf of the Lakeview Civic Association from residents and members of our civic. We have a property in the West Hempstead Lakeview area that has been an eyesore for quite some time. I know that I've spoken about it in previous meetings, and I'm here again today along with some other members from the West Hempstead community to ask for your assistance. The property is located at the intersection of Woodfield Road and Lakeview and Eagle Avenue, and many residents call, email on a daily basis, and we are at a point where we need something to be done. The property has become a storage lot for commercial vehicles. It looks horrendous, and it is at the entrance for both communities, and we would really like and appreciate you guys actually doing something about this eyesore in our community.
Okay.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
You're no stranger. I know the councilwoman, really does enjoy working with you and the Civic Association in particular. I know I asked our building commissioner to talk to you, and you're no stranger to Danny as well. So maybe with Danny we'll do a follow up. We'll have everybody in one day to kind of talk about the zoning, what can be done, and just have a little brainstorm with you. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough. Thank you.
Anytime, any problem at all. By the way, Ms. Ortiz, that was the councilwoman's idea. I just stole it from her. Veronica Dalton. How you doing? Your name and address? Thanks.
I'm Veronica Dalton, 141 Madison Avenue in Island Park. Thank you for this opportunity to express myself. This is only my second time coming to meetings, and I came I want to say about a month ago, and I requested Supervisor Calvin that a moratorium be placed on the best facilities, especially at the Barrett plant. I am less than 2 miles away from it. I'm very concerned about the effects when a fire and an explosion goes off, especially in light of what's happening in California. And I've been following that and looking at it. It is extremely alarming. And I'm getting a lot of, I guess for the lack of better words, deja vu. So I'm watching these videos. The visual is disturbing. People are expressing how they're choking and how their eyes are burning, and they're being told that the air is safe. Well, I'm a retired NYPD responder, and I was at 9/11, and I was there when they said the air was safe. And I also suffered the consequences of it and had my illness, had my bout, and thank God I'm still here, but I wish that on no one that they should have to go through that. There's a woman I just recently read last night, pregnant, 5 months, scared to leave her house out in California. I have 2 children with disabilities. Do you know what I said to my oncologist when I was sick? Please don't let me die. I have nobody to take care of them. I can relate to that. I can relate to that mother being scared out of her mind. We need a moratorium, especially with this RAPID Act that Governor Hochul is instituted and it's supposed to take effect soon. Please, she wants to take away your power to do something to protect us. We want you to know that we need this. Desperately need this. There is a school less than 2 miles away from this Barrett plant. The evacuation route is alongside this Barrett plant. If that goes up, we have no way of getting out. All right. The LIRR runs right past that. That will get knocked out also. We will have to, I don't even know how we would get out of the area because it would knock out all possible evacuation for us. So we have to lock in place and breathe that in.
All right.
I wish that on no one. Please.
Thank you, Ms. Dalton.
Thank you. And I also, just to let you know,
John,
I emailed you.
gotcha. And we get all the emails. So, John DiLeonardo? What? Is it you don't want to speak? Okay. Jack Russo? Good evening. Your name and address. Thank you, Mr. Russo.
Certainly. Name is Jack Russo, Babylon. Good afternoon, everybody. Board, Mr. Supervisor. My name is Jack Russo, and I represent Goldman Animal Alliance. And it's very interesting that one of the young ladies that spoke previously asked the board to do its due diligence. I have told the board, as well as your chief of staff, that that's exactly what we welcome. I ask you to do your due diligence, because if the due diligence is done, you'll find that the allegations that are so cavalierly bandied about against my client will be found to be patently false and, quite frankly, absurd. This company is formed for the sole purpose of responding to the town's RFP. It is the only entity that responded to the town's RFP, now twice. If you are to do your due diligence, you'll find that the company is uniquely qualified to help the town, and more importantly, the animals of the town of Hempstead. The company has resources to provide medicine for those animals, not only in the shelter, but also the animals that are fortunate enough to have homes in the town of Hempstead, probably for free, if not at ridiculously discounted rates. The allegations that my client is not in good stead with a charity organization called The Greater Good couldn't be more inaccurate, mainly because Goldman Animal Alliance has never contracted business with anybody. It only exists to execute this proposal. Representatives of my company, of this company, have been in negotiations with The Greater Good as recently as July of 2024, making arrangements to be able to provide food at discounted rates for the pets, for the pets in the town of Hempstead. Again, due diligence is exactly what we ask for. If you do your due diligence, I believe you'll find that Goldman Animal Alliance is perfectly and uniquely situated to solve both the animals as well as the town's issues. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Counselor. I do not have any slips. Anybody else who should be heard? Not sign in. If you're coming to the back, sorry, hold on. We got a couple of people there. Please, you come to the back of the mic and give your name and address. You do? Oh, you do? I didn't see it. I'll call you next, okay? All right.
Marcia DiTieri, Merrick, New York. Firstly, I wasn't able to respond to you at the last meeting I was at in December when you said that I said you guys were doing a terrible job. I never said that. There's always room for improvement. I'm just asking that you have an open heart and an open mind and take suggestions from someone that's been an environmentalist, an animal advocate for most of my life. That's all I'm asking. And I'm hoping that you receive the photos of people lining up at the door of the animal shelter during prime holiday time, great promoting adoptions, but losing so many potential adopters by cutting staff hours and layoffs during that time. I had suggested increased staffing at the last meeting, including someone greeting people. Andrea, who was considered seasonal, even though she was there for a year and a half and was laid off, she always had a smile on her face. She always greeted people. She would have been a perfect person to shorten the lines by telling them, oh, you can go here, you can go there, can I help you? Just advocating for the shelter. Just being proactive, staffing where staffing is needed so people get the attention they need so animals can be seen, adopted, and get out of the shelter. It can't just be in print. It has to be people. As far as the environment, again, I saw nothing about preserving our environment on the agenda. I had sent you a wonderful article about Stewart Manor, who received a Tree City USA designation with native trees extending over Carlton Terrace, enacting new laws to protect canopy trees, strengthening their Tree Preservation Act with the Village of Hempstead. I would love to see the town of Hempstead being recognized for protecting our old growth trees, not just in parks, but tree canopies in our streets. You can speak with Attorney Troncale if you would like some insight. Let's make this township more environmentally friendly 2025. Thank you.
Okay, if you go to the mic and give your name and address, thank you.
Steve Politi, Town of Islip. Good evening, everyone. I too am here on behalf of Mr. Berman and Goldman Animal Alliance, and I find it absolutely shocking, and I'm sure that the council board and town supervisor does as well, that Mr. DiLeonardo, who's been so vocal and so adamant about all of the terrible things, didn't get up and speak tonight. And I'll tell you why he didn't get up and speak tonight. Because I was going to be able to confront his lies to his face tonight. And the lies that he's been telling all of these good people in this room who care about the animals. We invite a public hearing so that each and every one of his baseless, meritless allegations can be attacked. So that the board, the town supervisor, and the people of the town of Hempstead could see that the only reason he's doing this is because of a petty argument that he had with an individual that is tangentially affiliated with our client. I submit to you that each and every person in this room should take my phone number who's worried about this animal shelter and call me and tell me their concerns. And I'll explain to all of them the true facts that are going to happen once you approve this RFP. Number one, he will never, ever euthanize an animal unless it is absolutely necessary. That needs to be known. But Mr. DiLeonardo is pushing lies to these volunteers, to these good people, and most notably to you and the people of the town of Hempstead. That will never happen. We welcome all of these wonderful volunteers who are voicing their concerns to call me, to call Mr. Russo, to call us, and we'll tell you that not only is the plan to keep these wonderful volunteers, but to expand it so that what the last lady just mentioned is not an issue and that it's fully staffed at all times. There are problems here that created the need for this request for bids. They will all be eradicated. And not only will they be able to serve the animals who are up for adoption, but all of the animals of the residents of the town of Hempstead will have a place to go when in need for food or medicine. The ability to help this town to be undone by an individual who's not even a member of this town, who's pushing and peddling lies to these wonderful people in this room who volunteer their time, it's a shame. Due diligence, as Mr. Russo mentioned and as that lady mentioned earlier, that's all we want. Give us a public hearing so that each and every concern can be addressed in full. Give us an opportunity to show you that all of the things that are being pushed are inaccurate, are false, and are the product of a vendetta. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I saw a couple of people back there. If you'd like to come up to the mic and give your name and address, that'd be great.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Name and address, thank you.
Michelle Leo, Island Park, New York.
Yep, you can name and address. Ma'am. You go, ma'am.
Good evening, Supervisor Clavin, Councilwoman Ryder, council members.
Guys, excuse me. Please, go on. Let's go on, ma'am.
Thank you. Michelle.
Thank you very, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's been given their opportunity. We have a guest at the mic. So why don't we show that courtesy that everyone else wants to receive here? Thank you.
Thank you.
Now yell at me.
Good evening. Good evening, Supervisor. Good evening, Supervisor Clavin, Councilwoman Ryder, and council members. I just want to preface, I just thought while sitting here listening to all the other comments, the town of Hempstead does not need a battery storage application in order to impose a moratorium. Because the north of Hempstead, the town of North Hempstead has one. That's how I know. So right now, we're witnessing the 750 megawatt battery energy storage unit in Moss Landing, California, burning for the second time. Residents within an 8 square mile have to be evacuated. Just to give you some perspective, my home in Island Park to this address is 8.1 miles. In December 2023, the Department of Public Service wrote to the New York State Public Service Commission regarding energy storage development program called Final Supplemental Generic Environmental Impact Statement. This 80-page document explains the analysis it will take years to implement safety regulations. Yet this year, under Governor Hochul's Rapid Act, which will create uniform regulations written by one agency. No local government like ours will have any say on what happens to their own community. This has to halt now. Public health and safety impacts, which you've heard throughout the night, are attributable to toxicity by the hydrofluoric acid and hazards associated with large-scale lithium batteries, electrical, thermal, and mechanical. In 2019, Arizona's battery storage caught fire and exploded due to internal cell failure, causing injuries to firefighters. The fire suppression system was insufficient to prevent thermal runaway. In 2023, there were 3 fires, 2 in Warwick because of stormwater intrusion, and a fire that broke out at the storage facility in East Hampton due to overheating. Governor Hochul's Fire Interagency Working Group has not released to date the air quality results of the hydrogen fluoride from recent battery fires. Why not? We don't want to be collateral damage. Tier 1 and Tier 2 batteries are both unsafe and do not belong in our townships. Worldwide, there have been 70 utility-scale battery failures, not including 2024 or 2025. Recently, there was a meeting at the town of Oyster Bay with Jupiter Battery representatives. Their fire expert answering the questions of residents said, "Nothing's going to happen yet. Here we are again." Ryland Energy has an application for zoning with the BESS, and the BESS is proposed for less than a mile from Lincoln Orange Middle School, less than a mile from residents' homes. There is no 1,000% guarantee that we will not have the same fire event on Long Island. The BESS are ticking time bombs and are being pushed by a lot of investors that don't care about our health and safety. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'd like to submit this into public record if I can.
So, Ms. Trinkle's going to come take it from you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Come on up there and give your name and address. Thanks. Thanks.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Rob Bozzella, Glenhead. I'm here also to encourage the town of Hempstead to join the towns of Oyster Bay and North Hempstead in implementing a BESS moratorium. Oh, I'm sorry. A Navy SEAL I know says, "Hope is not a plan." Yet proponents of BESS facilities are saying we should blindly leap ahead without any data and then hope they don't catch fire. Hope none of our volunteer firefighters get seriously injured or killed trying to contain the fire until it burns out. Hope the toxic fumes from a weeks-long fire and off-gassing during normal operations don't cause 9/11-like cancers and an uptick in childhood cancer rates. Hope the toxic runoff from fire containment procedures don't turn Long Island into a barren wasteland by permanently contaminating the Long Island Sound and our aquifers. Hope children are not being forced to work in inhumane conditions while mining in foreign countries for the toxic components of lithium batteries. Hope local firefighters will have access to over 8 million gallons of fresh water to be able to prevent the spread of a fire into neighboring residential homes. Hope our utility bills don't skyrocket like the price of water has skyrocketed when rates are placed at the mercy of for-profit private equity firms. Hope we don't create landfills filled with toxic waste from spent lithium batteries. This is an awful lot of hope. Regarding the Rapid Act, we can and should not sit idly by as Albany attacks our constitutional right to home rule. We as local residents and you as local elected representatives have a duty to protect the things we believe are important. Long Island and its residents should not be sacrificed to advance the agenda of upstate New York officials. Once you start down the path of ceding rights, where does it stop? Remember these words from Pastor Martin Niemöller around the time of World War II. First, they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. Now is your time to speak and act. We need all of Long Island to fight to immediately repeal the Rapid Act and implement a moratorium on best facilities. Defending the concept of home rule should not be a partisan issue. We have the constitutional right to determine what happens here on Long Island, and we need all of you from both political parties to unite to let Albany know that we will not quietly acquiesce. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I saw a couple of people sitting down that wanted to speak. Mr. DiLeonardo? You were called already and you chose not to speak.
I asked.
No, Mr. DiLeonardo. No, Mr. DiLeonardo. Please, sir. I asked you. You declined, so that was your choice. You don't make the rules. Yeah, no, it's okay, Mr. DiLeonardo. Yes, you did, Mr. DiLeonardo. Please. The residents here are speaking. Mr. DiLeonardo, please, we're not going to get into it. You declined. I respectfully looked at it. I asked you, and you said no. Residents who would like to speak back there. Mr. DiLeonardo, we're not going to get into it, Mr. DiLeonardo. Mr. Leonardo, we're not going to get into it. The rules are really clear here. When a resident signs in, or Mr. Leonardo, you don't live here. I know you're not from the area. I know you're from Riverhead. Mr. DiLeonardo, the rules are very clear. Next time, and the residents know it, when you're asked to speak, you don't get to decide that. You don't get to decide when you want to speak, Mr. DiLeonardo. You don't get. So don't make a representation to these nice people that you said you wanted to wait or anything. Yo, Mr. DiLeonardo, stop. Mr. DiLeonardo, you can stop. You can stop right now, Mr. DiLeonardo, or you won't be welcome back here. I asked you twice, in fact. So you know what? You were given the opportunity. So enough, Mr. DiLeonardo, enough. If any of the other residents would like to come up, please give your name and address. Mr. DiLeonardo, last time I'm going to say it to you. I asked you twice because I wanted to give you the opportunity. You chose to. You made that decision. So do not represent to anybody in there. No, Mr. No, Mr. Leonard. No, Mr. Leonard. There's no confusion here. Now you are purposely trying to tell these people something that is not the reality. And that is the case. No, it's enough, Mr. Leonard. Thank you. We're delighted. Thank you so much for coming. Ma'am, give your name and address. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Again, we're not going to have the call out. He was asked to speak twice. He declined. Stop, sir. That is the reality. No. You do not. No, sir. You're going to stop? That is not how we do things in the town. You don't get to say, I want to speak later. You're given the opportunity. It's been that way. It's been that way for several decades, and he knows it. So let's go on. That's nice of you, sir. You can quiet down. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now that my heart is pounding.
You okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good evening, Michelle.
Name and address.
Michelle Oder, Baldwin, New York. I think you're pretty familiar with me and why I'm here. I'm going to be at every town meeting from now until we have some resolution. Again, I'm here to oppose considering of any continuance of the 2283 Grand Avenue project. Just a quick recap. I'm sure you all know, I'm not going to go into great detail, that standing at this podium on October 23rd of 2023 stood Greg DeRosa representing G2D with his attorney Philip Foote,
who has now 20 lawsuits for allegations of fraud, money laundering, breach of contract, and setting up a Ponzi land scheme. They stood here floating and seducing everybody with this wonderful project going up in Baldwin, putting 54 apartments in a 4-story complex that happened to be going right against my personal fence line. My neighbors and I were extremely opposed to it. And down in Clavin, I ran across this the other day. At this meeting, you required them to have a Baldwin Civic Association meeting to address the concerns of the citizens. Well, we knew that there was something really rotten in Denmark with this project then, and look what's happened. We now have a project, and guess what? Something is even more rotten in Denmark now, because this project, if it's allowed to go forward with the site plans, with the inducement resolutions, with anything that this gentleman, I don't even want to use that word, presented to this board, it would be a travesty of justice. Your secretary called me last week. The town attorney's office had a conversation with myself and my neighbors, assuring us that this project was going to be paused and possibly even terminated. Imagine my shock on Wednesday night, because I do constant research about this, when I found out that this morning there was going to be an IDA resolution meeting for this project, which has been renamed under a new LLC. How's this project being paused? How is this even being considered? You had a Ponzi scheming, lying, cheating developer standing right here who was never going to build that building. He was never going to build it. All he was doing was trying to fraudulently beat out his investors and stakeholders. This project needs to be terminated. You know what? There's a better project out there. Let that property be sold to somebody else, and let Baldwin have something that isn't laden with fraud and mired in really just, it's unbelievable to me that this could even be considered. Your office called me, told me it was being paused. This morning there was an IDA resolution to go through with this project as it is. And I don't even understand how that's all happening. So please, I'm going to be here again in 2 weeks. And you may think that my neighbors don't care about this. I have almost 100 signatures, and I will be happy to give you this.
Okay. You can always follow up with the town attorney. I know the town attorney's spoken to you about the subject. But and John, has there been any arrest allegations or anything on this property that I didn't know about?
Absolutely not. She is correct that the developer has some issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
I told Ms. Oder that based upon our investigation and what we've heard from the developer's representatives, that developer will not be doing this project. Another developer in the future could take it over.
That's great. If you just keep her informed, that's important that we do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. That next speaker, please. Okay. Thank you very, very much. And you can always speak to the town attorney. He likes talking to you. Okay. How you doing? Name and address.
I first want to start because I'm spraying, because I think in this cold and flu environment, you should take more.
In the what?
In this flu and cold environment, right, with the viruses running around, you should at least have some wipes down here, or at least sanitize this area. So I just did my own spray of alcohol or whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay. So Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. In Uniondale, we have a huge issue with trash and debris that spreads throughout our sidewalks, roadways, and tertiary streets. Many businesses do not clean in front of their establishments, and many businesses put their trash to the curb a day or sometimes 2 days prior to pickup. I receive calls from residents all the time. My phone rings every single day, multiple times a day, regarding trash and the overflowing of trash on our primary and our tertiary streets. Many of our residential streets are not better, as there is limited adherence to proper trash disposal and as to what time trash is to be put to the curb. So sometimes they languish there for days, 1 day, 2 days. This trash is just there. Trash overflowing in our streets is a quality of life issue that needs to be taken seriously. Not only does this depict visual pollution, it is a health issue. I know in the past we had the assistance of Quality of Life Task Force. They came into the area a couple of times. We had pickers that came, and it was a better environment. But right now, there is no sanitation oversight whatsoever as far as having this on a consistent basis where the business owners know what they're supposed to do, but they do not do it for whatever reason. There needs to be oversight. There needs to be enforcement. Now, your code enforcement, they're great guys. Pete Caparelli, Frank Pepe, these gentlemen, you call them, they react, but they're overwhelmed. They do a lot. We need consistent oversight. Front Street is not your street. I understand it's a state roadway, but I've been to many countries, okay, traveled all over, and Front Street is the streets there in other third world countries look better than Front Street. It's horrible. It's terrible.
Right.
But that's not your issue. That's the state issue. That's going to be Legislator Bino's issue, okay? But Unidale Avenue, I know it's a Nassau County road. I spoke with the legislators about that. Our tertiary streets, they need oversight. They need to be cared for. They need enforcement. So given that, I'm requesting that
Okay,
the commission-
if
I'm
you want to
requesting that
send
the
an email
commissioner
on
be,
and I'll be happy to send it to
send you
the new, this new state senator. She's awesome. And I don't know who your county legislator is, but if it's a county street, you'll let us know. And then we're happy to send to them. And I appreciate the positive shout out you gave to the inspectors. They do a great job. I agree with you. Next. Yes, sir.
Good evening again, Chris Jacobs, Uniondale. How you doing?
What's up, Chris?
Hey, I just want to, in reference to what those good neighbors of mine said, for his battery terminals being erected in Uniondale, because I've been to many meetings now where they're trying to find alternate forms of energy, and they want to put high EMF cables through Nassau County, part of it going through Uniondale, and putting a battery storage facility. Hopefully the town of Hempstead doesn't allow that to happen. As everybody knows, Uniondale is a disadvantaged community. It's been identified by the New York State DEC. So having something that gives off high EMFs and having unstable batteries in any community is a bad idea. I just wanted to shout out to the town of Hempstead Building Department. I see the new mobile station going up at the corner of Jerusalem and Uniondale Avenue. It's very beautiful, and I'm grateful for that. So that's one lot down, and hopefully we'll continue on the path of reallocating these lots to good use. And I just want to thank the town of Hempstead Building Department for that. It's been expeditiously done, and it's beautiful, and I can't wait to use it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. Nice to see you as always. Anybody else wish to be heard there? Did not sign in? Great. Yes, if you give me an name and address for the mic. Thanks.
Diane Madden, Hempstead. I just wanted to urge the board to continue to move forward in terms of what's going on at the shelter right now, at the moment. One thing that is essential that they do not have is a full-time, reputable outside trainer. I also ask that the board hold off in terms of euthanizing dogs unless it is a severely aggressive dog and a safety issue for the public, because there isn't any full-time trainer there at the animal shelter. That department was something that I wish to see develop and grow, because every other department in the shelter would succeed from that. So again, if they are hiring a trainer, which I'm hearing they're doing, it should be very transparent. It should be open. There should be an outreach for a trainer, and it should be someone that is reputable and a professional. Also, there's an issue with the TNR program. It still has not been expanded to its full capacity. Spring will be here very quickly, and we're going to end up in the same situation as COVID, where a lot of time was lost, a lot of unwanted kittens were born, and that is a preventative measure. So again, while the board is contemplating whether to privatize, whether or not to, please continue to look at the current issues and move forward with fixing those. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Madden. Anybody else wish to be heard? I just want the record to reflect that the tray of cookies has been placed in front of Councilman Muscarella, and he's fighting very, very hard not to. And lastly, Ms. Jacobs, I should have said to you, to you and your son earlier today at the advocacy of the deputy supervisor and in conjunction with the town, we announced that the new water tower is going to be taking place, replacement of the tower, the East Meadow one. That's a big eyesore there. The deputy supervisor sat down. We found the proceeds, and instead of even doing a rehab, we're going to do a brand new tower in the facility. The bid's going to go out this summer. It's going to be built while the other tower is there, be checked out, and after the new tower is put up, the old tower will come down. But if you could pass that back to the residents, the deputy supervisor and the town board stepping up there. So I just want to say thank you to the deputy supervisor advocacy. Everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you all very, very much.